Thank you, Mr. Chair. This has been such a interesting experience serving as Minority Vice Chair on this committee. I want to thank the Chair, Representative Van Singal, and the Vice Chair, Representative Boland, for being extremely inclusive, as well as the other members of the committee, Green and Slaw, as well as Huizenga. This has been a unique committee because we have done extensive research. We traveled across the state and met with college students. We met with college professors, and we had young people look us in the eye and tell us the importance of the education that they were receiving at our public and private institutions. Many of them discussed with us how the education they were receiving at our colleges were putting them on a path from poverty to prosperity. Many of them were the first in their families to receive college degrees and credentials, and that would be a game changer. And without the work and the funding that we would be fighting for in this room, that would not be possible. We also heard from university presidents that traveled, some in really inclement weather, across the state, and told us about the impact that their institutions were having, not just on students and families, but also in the communities that they were in, many in very rural communities that without a post-secondary institution, the economy would be impacted. We also heard from a ton of businesses who are starving for talent in Michigan that have the skills and specifically the degrees to fill their jobs. And without strong partnerships with our post-secondary institutions, and specifically the revenue that is necessary to fund those institutions, they are not able to meet our labor market demands. And we also heard from many of our research institutions, the University of Michigan, Michigan State, Wayne State. We heard some really powerful testimony, and we went to their campuses and saw how they are actually saving people's lives. The research that they are doing is putting Michigan on the map, not just in the United States, but across the world. And for those of us who have had family members who have been at the University of Michigan or Michigan State for medical procedures, we know how without those institutions, many of us would not even have family members that are here today. And so we have had such a productive process. We've had research, we've had productive dialogue. There's never been a time in this committee that I haven't felt in the loop. And I just appreciate that, especially as a freshman, not knowing what to expect. But I continue to be reminded that process is only a piece of this work. And when we go out into the communities and we talk about the process that's happening in these walls, a lot of people don't care. They don't care about the process. They care about the final product. And so over the last few weeks, I've been going to students and families and telling them about this budget and saying, what's your reaction? And the number one thing that they've said to me is, how is this making college more attainable and more affordable, specifically for low-income kids across the state who need a chance at being a part of this economy in Michigan? And it's been a hard sell. Early in today's testimony, we heard about the fact that many of these departments and these budgets have had to have small sacrifices in order for us to have a robust roads plan. And I feel as though this budget is a big example of one of those sacrifices. The fact that we have not endured a ton of cuts, which I think is a part of our leadership and our negotiations. But I don't think that it's good enough for me to look a student at LCC or Michigan State University in Representative Brixey's district to justify what we've done in this room and what we've done to our institutions, not just this year, but over the last 20, 30 years. And so I appreciate the process, and I appreciate we haven't seen those drastic cuts, but I just know that we can do a lot better. And so I'm excited about continuing to have these discussions and work through the process, but I challenge our committee members to go back to districts and talk to students and talk to families about this budget and how we can make college more accessible and more affordable for kids in our community. So thank you for allowing me to speak.